All right now. Is Doc causing trouble here?
I'll say. Looks like the circus is back in town.
What the hell kind of fun is that?
You better get out there, Marshal Ferreira. Doc Brown does whatever Doc Brown's fixing to do.
Dr. Brown, what's this all about?
Marshal Strickland, you're looking very healthy. Have you arrived to lend a hand?
I sincerely doubt that.
Well, as you can see, some friends and I are laying down some track for a little...
Experiment?
Precisely!
The kind of experiment that needs 50 yards of track and no train? Don't make a whole lot of sense, Doc.
The future doesn't always make sense. Which reminds me, boys, of the time I changed the future.
But I don't even remember it.
Let me tell you the story. It was a night like any other until everything changed. We were amidst an event that would come to be remembered as the Cuban Missile Crisis. It's a long story, boys. Suffice it to say, a lot of us thought the world would end that week.
Missile deployment could mean war, blockade. We beg all governments not to remain deaf to this cry of humanity.
I'd been working on the flux capacitor. Had been since Marty McFly went back to the future. And the past. Anyway, it had been 7 years, and I was running out of patience and, frankly, money. What is it, Copernicus? Is someone here?
Some interesting reference you have there, Doctor. I'm surprised you haven't taken up needlepoint in your declining years.
General Groves!
Retired, Emmett. The Manhatten Project took a lot out of both of us.
Well, I see you've forgotten how to knock.
We don't knock anymore. Cuba took care of that. The name's Lomax, Colonel Lomax, U.S. Army, operating under the auspices of the Department of Defense.
I see you've been keeping up. Why on earth would a fella have more than one TV?
I got the idea from an old friend, or a future friend. It's complicated. Wait, that's not important. Why are you in my domicile?
Teetering on the brink. End is near.
We're looking for a way to stop that from ever happening.
You're a little late.
What? Why this creature?
Easy, Copernicus. These are friends, I think.
Late, you say? We have a different viewpoint.
Thing is, Doc, I never forgot your flights of fancy back in Los Alamos. Always dreaming. But if anybody could...
Doctor, to cut to the chase, the United States government is prepared to pay handsomely if you can build a time machine.
Now, don't forget, boys. I knew I would accomplish my goal. This wasn't mere self-confidence. Marty was proof of my future success. And I may have mentioned I'd sunk my personal fortune into making the flux capacitor. So an offer like this was all I could hope for. Wasn't it? Come along, gentlemen. You'll find this experimental prototype impressive. I call it a temporal field capacitor. You might refer to it as a time machine. Of sorts.
Ha ha! I knew we could count on you, Emmett.
Of sorts?
It'll all be clear in a moment, at least to General Groves. I can't vouch for your intellect, Mr. Lomax.
Colonel Lomax.
Now you see here 2 identical trays with 2 identical stopwatches. Please feel free to examine them.
Just get on with it.
Also, on the trays are 2 identical fast-burning candles. By the way, please start the stopwatches now! Thank you. The stopwatches and candles are as synchronized as possible, given the circumstances. One set goes inside, the other remains as our control group. Now the TFC can't allow travel throughout all of time, only within the frame of its own existence. But that should provide a suitable proof of concept in precisely 90 seconds when we shall catch up with the experimental candle and stopwatch.
Can't wait.
Why is it so blasted hot in here?
Excuse the heat. I haven't figured out how to bypass that yet. Now check inside.
Where the hell are they?
Mr. Lomax, the correct question is when the hell are they?
Spectacular. You've invented a way to disintegrate candles.
Hang on. He's eccentric, but we like that in our scientists.
What kind of power is it running on?
1/4 gigawatt! A little short of what I need. What I suspect I'll need.
Now it's cold.
Relax, Lomax. It's refreshing.
You'll find this refreshing, I hope.
Ta-da! See for yourself.
The experimental stopwatch is 90 seconds behind the control watch.
Easily faked, Doctor.
You came to me, Lomax. Why would I have a fake time machine in my living room?
Even if I believe you, and I reserve judgment, what use is traveling to the future? The Mandate is a machine that lets us change the past.
He's got a point, Emmett.
This is a prototype. I've tried to send objects into the past, but even a few minutes causes a buildup of flux energy. Any further back and I fear arrival at the target date would overheat the capacitor and start an electrical fire. But this is only an initial prototype. The first tracks to be laid, as it were. With the right resources, I'd be able to solve the flux problem in no time.
It's interesting, I admit.
Doc, you're never gonna have to worry about funding again. Lomax, imagine the possibilities.
The possibilities indeed. Unlimited money, but at what cost? The question hung over me that night. Surely the chance to prevent a nuclear war. I'll explain later what that is, Verne. And to continue my research. Surely that was all I could ask for. My God, what was that? Sometimes when you ask, the universe answers. And not always the way you expect. Great Scott!
Doc!
Marty!
Doc, my nasze wasze pomocy. This nasz detail.
Russian? Still, Copernicus and I didn't hesitate to enter. Marty was, in any language, our friend. But what we saw must have been a nightmare. Great Scott! It was Hill Valley, but a Hill Valley no sane man would dream of. A future of absolute chaos. Is this what happens if I don't help prevent the situation in Cuba from occurring? Well, when you ask, sometimes the universe answers. This was no normal future. This was a future of time travel running amok. I understood at once. First, the United States would possess time travel, so the Soviet Union would have no choice but to follow suit. An arms race would ensue. And the results spoke for themselves. Outside the shopping mall where Marty and I first would test the time machine, I grasped the ultimate implications. Warfare fought in a world where time could be altered, so targets never existed. A means of defense? A second front of an attack? Ultimately, it didn't matter who did what. Marty, I think it's time to get out of here! After the Manhatten Project, after helping usher in one arms race. Marty, come on! Marty! My conscience couldn't take being a party to another. Great Scott! I'm back! We're back! It's all back! Was it a dream? A vision? Did it somehow happen? My God, it doesn't matter! This technology can't be in the hands of any government. But now that Groves knows it's here, he'll stop at nothing to get it. Unless... It was a desperate gamble. I thought back to the beginning of August, a night where Copernicus and I would fall asleep at the workbench of my, quite fireproof, laboratory. I'd invented the temporal field capacitor once that summer. I could do it again, later. The government money wouldn't come, but at least I'd insured that house out the wazoo.
This is the right place, but where's Dr. Brown's house?
Afraid you're a couple months late, mister. Hi, Goldie Wilson. I'm running to be your District 3 representative. Hope I can count on your vote, and if I can't...
We're from out of town.
Do you know what happened to that mansion? Or its owner?
Sorry. Doc Brown's been reclusive since he burnt it down. On the down low, everybody knows it was for insurance money.
Emmett Brown, an insurance thief.
That does not sound like someone we can count on, Groves. Let's get out of here. We're barking up the wrong tree.
So how do you remember all of that? I thought you said time travel did it.
No, don't you see? I left myself a note.
Emmett, you can't expect the boys to grasp every intricacy of the space-time continuum, not yet anyway.
Mom!
Of course not. I barely understood at their age.
Emmett!
I'm joking, Clara. But it's important to expose them at an early age. After all, it's never too early to start laying tracks for the future.